All right, welcome to your deep dive. I know you love SarahJMaas, so we're diving into her adult fantasy novel, House of Earth and Blood.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah, so we've got a stack of sources for you. Mainly, we're going to be focusing on the Goodreads page for this book.
Okay.
You know, the official description, background on SarahJMaas, and
Yeah.
tons of reviews from, readers just like you. Our
Turn me on.
mission to figure out what makes this book so captivating. Or not, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things is how Maas sets this story in an urban fantasy world.
Yeah.
Crescent City, right?
Yeah.
But it's like she infuses it with all these high fantasy elements that connect to Norse mythology.
Yeah.
I mean, this city is located on the planet Midgard,
Whoa.
which, immediately brings to mind all those epic tales of gods and monsters.
Right.
I'm really curious to see how those mythological influences kind of shape the world and the characters.
I know, it's like a really unique blend. You've
Yeah.
got like angels and vampires and werewolves and fae all coexisting with humans in this modern city full of advanced tech.
Exactly.
And speaking of connections, the Goodreads description mentions that this is the same like glittering city on the curve of a river from Maas's Throne of Glass series.
Oh, wow. So there's a connection there.
Yeah. Huh,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Like, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I mean, if we connect this to, like, the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it kind of makes you wonder if all of Maas's books could exist within a shared multiverse.
Whoa.
I bet fans are already, combing through the pages for clues and everything.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But let's get back to Crescent City.
Yeah.
It's not all glitz and glamour, is it?
No.
There's also this deep-rooted conflict between the powerful Vanir, which is like the collective term for all magical beings
Okay.
in this world, and then the humans
Okay.
you're, kind of oppressed.
Right, so it's not just about, like, magical creatures hanging out in a modern city. There's, like, a whole socio-political layer that we need to unpack here.
Definitely.
And I'm sure our protagonist, Bryce Quinlan, finds herself right in the thick of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Bryce is such an interesting character.
Yeah.
She's a half human, half fae party girl,
Okay.
and she enjoys, like, a modern lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
The Goodreads description highlights, like, her love for dancing, casual sex, even drug use.
Whoa.
She definitely challenges, like, the typical chosen one trope we see in a lot of fantasy novels.
She sounds like a breath of fresh air.
Right.
And the readers seem to agree. One review even called her an advanced self-insert for SarahJMaas.
Uh-huh. I love that.
What's really interesting is how Bryce tackles, like, real-world issues, too,
Oh,
like body image. There's a mention of her being told she's, like, too curvy for a dancing career,
Oh, wow.
which, a lot of readers probably find relatable.
Definitely.
And the book has this great quote that, like, really captures her spirit. Do you own any weapons? The purely male gleam in his eye told her that he assumed she didn't. Bother me again, she said sweetly, just before she shut the window in his face, and you'll find out.
She's feisty.
She's not afraid to stand up for herself,
No, not at all.
challenge expectations.
Yeah, and she's got quite a crew around her, right?
Yeah.
One of the most prominent characters is Hunt Athalor. He's a fallen angel
Okay.
with a mysterious past,
Ooh.
who also happens to be Bryce's love interest.
Ooh, interesting.
The description mentions that he's enslaved to the archangels he once tried to overthrow.
Wow.
But, he also has a softer side.
Okay.
Like, he loves cooking.
Oh, that's nice.
So talk about a complex character.
Yeah, he sounds like the classic, like, brooding hero with hidden heart of gold.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sensing there's more to their relationship than just, like, romance.
Mm.
It seems like friendship and found family are, like, major themes in this book,
Okay.
running parallel to the, romantic storyline. Reviews really emphasize the importance of Danica Fendar,
Oh, yeah.
the alpha female werewolf, and her powerful bond with Bryce.
Okay.
This might be a good point to explain, like, the term alpha hole
Yeah.
for listeners who might not be familiar.
Mm-hmm.
It refers to those, like, domineering, possessive male characters,
Right.
often seen in, fantasy, especially in Maas's previous work.
Yes.
And some readers are concerned Hunt might fall into that category.
Oh, okay. So it'll be interesting to see how Maas handmade Hunt's character.
Yeah.
Especially with all this discussion about alpha holes in her other books.
Exactly.
It seems like Danica will, like, keep Bryce grounded and supported no matter what.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we've also got these other really interesting side characters that are mentioned in the Goodreads reviews, like Bryce's Fae brother Rune.
Okay.
the mischievous fire sprite, Lehaba,
Cool.
and the mysterious Adis, Prince of the Chasm.
I love that name, Adis.
It sounds like, yeah, we've got a whole cast of complex characters we do to explore here.
Yeah, each adding their own, like, dynamic to the story.
Mm-hmm.
But before we, get too caught up in character analysis,
Yeah.
let's take a step back and consider, like, the pacing.
Okay.
Some readers have noted that the book is over 800 pages long,
Wow, that's long.
and the first half can feel a bit slow.
Yeah, some reviewers felt kind of overwhelmed, I guess, by the detailed world building. Like, it was almost too much information up front.
Too much too soon.
But then there are also tons of reviews that rave about, like, how captivating the last 200 pages are.
Interesting.
So maybe the slow burn is intentional
TBD.
to, like, fully immerse the reader in this complex world before things really kick off.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's all about how that information is presented, right? And how it contributes to the overall story.
exactly.
Speaking of presentation, I'm curious about how Maas handles, the shift from YA to adult fantasy.
Yeah.
There's mention of more mature themes and even, like, heavier use of strong language.
Oh, yeah. One reviewer said, "Move aside the word mate, because here comes the word shit."
Well, she's not shying away from pushing those boundaries.
No, she's not.
So I'm interested to hear what readers have to say about that.
Yeah, well, let's take a quick pause here.
Okay.
We'll come back to this in just a few
That
minutes.
sounds good.
Okay, so we've kind of established that House of Earth and Blood is like a pretty complex book.
Yeah.
Both in terms of, its world and its characters.
Definitely.
But what about those, like, mixed reader reactions we were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
To the more mature themes, some find it refreshing,
Right.
while others think it's just too much.
It seems like the readers who really enjoy Maas's exploration of those mature themes,
Okay.
they kind of appreciate the grittiness and the realism it brings to the story.
Okay.
They argue that it reflects, the complexities of modern society and adds, like, depth to the character struggles.
Right.
On the other hand, those who find it excessive, they feel like it sometimes overshadows the fantasy elements,
Yeah.
kind of detracts from the reading experience.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like a balancing act.
It is.
Blending those mature themes with, fantasy elements
Right.
without one overwhelming the other.
Exactly.
But beyond, like, the thematic discussions, I'm really curious about the magic system in Crescent City.
Okay.
We touched on it briefly.
Yeah.
But the Goodreads reviews kind of hint at a unique blend of traditional magic and a more, like, scientific approach.
Yes. Maas seems to have created a system where magic is, like, quantifiable,
Okay.
and monitored.
It's interesting.
The reviews mention things like blood tests
What?
used to determine a Vanier's power level.
Wow.
And, like, there's a system for tracking magical vibrations. It's almost as if, like, magic has become this resource
Yeah.
subject to analysis and control.
It's such a cool concept.
It is.
It really sets this world apart from her earlier books.
I agree.
Where magic felt, more intuitive and mystical.
Mhm.
This system feels so much more structured, almost like a science.
Yeah.
But does this apply to humans as well?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or are they, like, truly powerless in this world?
That seems to be a key point of, like, exploration in the book.
Okay.
Reviews suggest that humans are kind of considered inferior to the Vanir,
Okay.
despite their technological advancement. So they face discrimination and oppression,
Oh, wow.
making them like a marginalized group within this magical society.
So there's like a social commentary element then
Yeah.
woven into the fantasy.
Mhm.
We're not just dealing with, like, magical creatures and epic battles. We're also confronting, like, issues of inequality and the struggle for power.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, we've got the murder mystery
Oh, right.
at the heart of the story.
Yeah.
Bryce is on this quest to, like, avenge her friend's death, and she's partnered up with Hunt to uncover the truth.
Right. What are the readers saying about their dynamic?
Yeah, their relationship is definitely, like, a major talking point.
It seems.
Readers seem to appreciate the, like, slow burn romance
Oh.
instead of falling, instantly in love.
Right.
What they often call insta-love in the fantasy romance world.
Yeah, totally.
Bryce and Hunt, they actually develop a foundation of, like, trust and friendship first,
Okay, that's nice.
which allows their connection to deepen more gradually,
Right.
making that eventual romance, more satisfying.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, and I think that resonates with a lot of readers,
Yeah.
It just feels more realistic
Mhm.
and emotionally engaging, especially when compared to the insta-love trope, which is like so common in YA fantasy.
Yeah, I agree.
And it seems like their relationship goes like beyond just physical attraction too. They both have like personal baggage to unpack, and they support each other through those challenges.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's this quote from the book that I think like perfectly captures their connection.
Oh, what is it?
Okay, so it says, "You're my friend who watches trashy TV with me and puts up with my shit. You're the person I don't need to explain myself to, not when it matters. You see everything I am and you don't run away from it."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It speaks to like such a deep level of understanding and acceptance. It does, you know, which is like so essential in a world as challenging as Crescent City.
Absolutely.
It definitely sounds like a powerful and supportive relationship, both, romantically and platonically.
Definitely.
And speaking of platonic relationships,
Yeah?
what about like the bond between Bryce and Danica?
Oh, yeah.
That seems to be another like highlight for a lot of readers.
It could
The
be.
reviews consistently mention like the strength and the depth of their friendship. It's described as this like sisterly bond built on, unwavering loyalty and understanding. One reviewer even said it was like one of the most beautiful things Maas has ever written.
Wow.
It seems like their friendship is like just as important to the story as the romantic relationships.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how much of Maas's own like life experiences inspire her writing.
Right.
I mean, she's known for creating these like strong, supportive female characters who really lift each other up.
Exactly.
And it's a theme that runs throughout all of her books.
Yes.
And it clearly like resonates with a lot of readers, especially women.
It's about like finding your tribe, those people who accept you for who you are, flaws and all.
Exactly.
And that sense of belonging, you know?
Yeah.
It's so crucial.
It is.
Especially in a world as dangerous as Crescent City.
For sure.
But even with all this support, Bryce and her friends are facing some serious threats.
Oh, yeah?
Right. I mean, the Goodreads description hints at danger lurking, like around every corner.
Definitely. We've got demons,
Yeah.
rogue angels, and some like mysterious power
Yeah.
that's threatening to destroy everything Bryce holds dear.
It sounds like Maas is delivering on the action and suspense.
Oh, for sure. What are reviewers saying about the pacing in the second half of the book?
Yeah, it seems like once the story hits that second half, it's like nonstop action and twists.
Okay.
The slow burn of that first half really seems to pay off.
Right.
As like the stakes rise and the plot thickens.
Yeah.
Readers have described it as like a roller coaster ride.
Wow.
With all these shocking reveals
Wow.
and unexpected alliances that keep you on the edge of your seat.
I love that.
Yeah, so Maas still knows how to create that sense of urgency
She does.
and keep the reader guessing.
Absolutely.
That's something she's known for.
Yeah.
But without, like, giving away any spoilers, can you, like, tease any of those shocking reveals?
Well, I don't want to ruin the experience.
Fair enough.
But let's just say there are betrayals and sacrifices.
Oh.
That'll leave you stunned.
Wow, I can't wait.
Yeah, you'll have to, like, dive in yourself to see how it all unfolds.
For sure.
But before you do,
Yeah.
I think it's worth discussing Maas's, like, writing style.
Okay.
How has it, evolved or not
Mm-hmm.
in this transition to adult fantasy?
That's a good question, yeah.
We've talked a lot about the themes,
Mm-hmm.
the plot, but what about, like, the actual prose?
Right. What are readers saying about her writing style in this book? Is it different from her earlier work?
Based on the reviews, it seems like she's, retained her signature blend
Okay.
of, like, lyrical prose and fast-paced action.
Okay.
However, she's definitely pushing boundaries with her language, using stronger language.
Right.
That wouldn't be appropriate for a YA audience.
So she's embracing that freedom of adult fantasy,
She is.
both in terms of content and language.
Exactly.
That's exciting. It sounds like she's, evolving as a writer, taking risks, experimenting with new ideas. But has she addressed any of the criticism she's received for her previous work,
Oh, good point.
particularly about the alpha hole trope? Yeah, it really does sound like she's striking a balance there.
It does.
Between staying true to her style, but also, like, acknowledging,
Yeah.
That there's room for growth.
It's a tough line to walk.
Yeah.
But it seems like she's doing it well.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that it seems like she's addressing those alpha hole concerns directly within the narrative.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Several reviewers pointed out that she kind of like pokes fun at the trope, almost as if she's like winking at the readers and acknowledging the criticism that she's relieved in the past.
That's so clever.
It's a really clever way to handle it.
It is.
It shows a level of self-awareness that I really appreciate.
Yeah, it makes me even more curious to see how she develops Hunt's character.
Right.
Like, will he fall into that alpha hole trap?
Yeah.
Or will he break free from those expectations?
Yeah.
Become something more?
Oh, I can't wait to find out.
I know, based on like what we've gathered from the Goodreads page, Hunt is like this fascinating mix of strength and vulnerability. I mean, he's a fallen angel.
Right.
With this like tragic past.
Yeah.
Bound to this, powerful archangel.
Yeah.
But he also has these like unexpected softer sides.
Yeah.
Like his love for cooking.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Trashy TV.
I love that.
He's such a layered character.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got a lot to unpack.
He does.
And I bet readers are loving every minute of it.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen a lot of comments like about how much they adore Hunt and Bryce and like the entire cast of characters.
Yeah, it seems like Maas has once again created, characters that readers can really connect with on that emotional level.
Yeah, they're flawed, complex, relatable, which makes their struggles and their triumphs, all the more meaningful.
Yeah, and in a world as like dark and dangerous as Crescent City, those qualities really make them shine.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget about like the other characters who really bring this world to life.
Yes, some reviewers even mentioned like a demon cat that steals the show.
Oh, I love that.
Like, who doesn't love a sassy feline sidekick?
I know, right?
It seems like Maas really has this knack for like creating memorable side characters.
She does.
Both, human and supernatural,
Yeah.
who just add so much depth and humor to the story.
Yeah, it's those little details, those unexpected moments of levity that really make the world feel so rich and immersive.
So I guess if you're a fan of fantasy novels that like transport you to another world, a world full of magic, danger, and like complex characters who face these incredible challenges and they find strength in each other, then House of Earth and Blood is definitely worth checking out.
It is. And if you're already a fan of SarahJMaas, this book really offers like a glimpse into her evolution as a writer.
Oh, for sure.
It's a bold step into the world of adult fantasy.
Yeah.
And it seems like she's, embracing those new possibilities. Well, both like enthusiasm, but also a willingness to learn from, past experiences.
It's a good reminder that like even established authors are constantly growing and pushing their boundaries.
Yeah, that's what makes reading so exciting, right?
Yes.
The opportunity to discover new worlds and new perspectives.
Yes.
And to see how our favorite authors continue to, surprise us.
Absolutely. And like a final thought.
Yeah.
Remember those hints we talked about a possible Maas multiverse?
I do.
Well, whether or not all of her books are like actually connected, there's still so much to explore within Crescent City itself.
Absolutely.
This is just the beginning of the new series.
It is.
And I can't wait to see where she takes us next.
Me neither.
Well, there you have it.
That's it.
We explored the world of House of Earth and Blood.
We did.
Delved into the characters, the themes, even like the controversies.
Yeah.
We uncovered, the excitement, the criticisms, giving you a well-rounded perspective on what to expect from this book.
For sure.
So now it's your turn to dive in.
Absolutely.
Form your own opinions.
Yeah.
Happy reading.